why many, if not most, wealthy people with money keep their homes and other real estate mortgaged, usually to the hilt, and their real estate equity separated in a position of liquidity, safety, and earning a predictable rate of return greater than the net cost of those mortgages. Get ready. In this episode, I'm going to give you 13 reasons why wealthy people do this. And I've interviewed many multimillionaires and billionaires, and most of them have their real estate mortgaged to the hilt, even though they have the money to have it totally free and clear of mortgages. So why do they do that? Get ready. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and a retirement planning specialist now for 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize taxes, and empower their authentic wealth. And in the course of 5 decades of meeting with thousands of many successful people, many of which are multimillionaires and billionaires, I learned very, very early that most of these people keep all of their real estate mortgaged, even though they have the money to pay it off. And so I would ask them the questions because I figured this out. I'm not a major real estate investor, but I probably own more real estate or have bought and sold more real estate than most Americans. And I know all these reasons. That's why I do it myself, okay? I've always kept my real estate mortgaged and the equity separated. So let me give you the 13 reasons in order of why these wealthy people do that. Let me frame it with a story. Several years ago, I had a young lady that came and worked for us, and she had just come fresh from being a manager at a bank, and she was over all the high net worth customers. And when she first started, she was perplexed because all of these multimillionaires and billionaires came to the bank, and they would come in to borrow money, and she would go, "Well, why are you borrowing money when you have the money?" It's almost like you have to prove you don't need the money before they'll loan it to you, right? And not only that, she said they had their own personal residences, mortgaged to the hilt, and all their real estate, and they had the money. So let me give you the 13 reasons here in this episode, and then if you want to learn more, I'll give you some resources that you can learn about where these wealthy people put their money that's better, safer, more liquid than in their real estate properties, okay? So here we go. Reason number 1 out of 13 reasons. They tell me to maintain liquidity, okay? The ability to access your money when you need it. With an electronic funds transfer phone call, you can't do that when your equity is trapped in a property. The only way you can really get it is to sell it or borrow your money back out of it. And when you need it the worst, it's the hardest to get. If you need to borrow money out of a piece of real estate, you have to qualify, and usually you need it because of a setback, a disability, a sickness, loss of a job, whatever, okay? They said, "Doug, money tied up in real estate is not liquid. It's very illiquid." Number 1 reason. Number 2 reason, for peace of mind. They go, "Doug, you know this, for peace of mind in the event of any financial situation that's out of our control. There are certain external forces out there, pandemics, mortgage meltdowns like 2008, the 9/11 terrorist attacks. These different things that are out of our control cause the real estate market to dip as much as 30% in a single month, like March of 2020, due to COVID-19 pandemic. So they keep their equity separated, so they're immune from that. They're in control when their money is liquid and safe instead of tied up in the property." The number 2 reason. Number 3 reason out of 13 is because they simply say houses were made to house families, not to store cash, okay? What was designed to store cash? Well, my favorite vehicle is a property structured, max-funded, indexed universal life, which was designed originally by E.F. Hutton to store cash and have it compound tax-free at a rate of return that's usually triple the net cost of a mortgage, but I'm getting ahead of myself, okay? That's what their answer is, okay? Real estate was not designed to store cash, okay? It's going to appreciate or depreciate regardless of whether it's mortgaged to the hilt or free and clear. And so that's the 3rd reason, which moves us into reason number 4. They go, well, to protect that equity from liability lawsuits. We become a sue-happy society. And so if you have all of your equity tied up in paid off properties, I can guarantee you, if somebody slips and falls or sues you for all kinds of reasons, they could sue you beyond your insurance limits. The first thing they're going to go after is the equity in the property that is in there. And if you own several real estate properties in the same LLC, they're going to go after all the equity in all of them. But here's what some of the sharpest attorneys say. Mr. Andrew, you're the one who brought all this to light. Who is going to sue you for your real estate equity if there is none, if it's not there? If it's separated, and you have to watch other episodes, I advise my high net worth clients to separate their real estate equity like I do and put it over in Alaska Trust inside of a max funded index universal life, because it's next to impossible to penetrate in a court of law for many, many reasons. But I've seen many people who don't understand that, and they send all this extra principal payments against the mortgages. They get sued, and all their equity is wiped out in one lawsuit. And so that's the fourth reason. Fifth reason out of 13, they go, well, to keep my real estate equity safe from real estate market downturns. The fact of the matter is the real estate market goes like a roller coaster, not as violent or as dynamic or as often as maybe the stock market does. But the real estate market can drop 30% in a single month like it did in March of 2020 with COVID-19. Savvy, wealthy people keep their real estate equity separated because it doesn't matter if the real estate goes down in value. They don't lose. You know, they basically go, Doug, you know this. If you leave your money, your equity in the real estate, and we have a soft real estate market or a crash in real estate market, I guarantee you will lose. Yeah, you will lose if your equity is in that property. And it may take several years to get back what you lost. If you're like what I do, I keep my real estate equity separated so that when the real estate market goes down, I don't lose a dime. Because my money's not in there. It's over here earning a rate of return that is immune from market downturns and max funded IUL. And you can learn what that is on this channel. But that is the fifth reason out of 13 they give me. And that moves us to reason number 6. They say because your home needs a home or a house for your money, to house your money, safer than your house. Now, some people, they don't really get that. They think a paid off home is safe. No. You have to have your money in a position of safety that will preserve your principal, because things that are out of your control can cause your real estate to go down in value, like I've mentioned. But also, you can participate when the stock market does well without your money being in the stock market by using indexing, Index Universal Life. But also, I have my real estate equity over into my max funded IUL laser funds. And so when anything happens to the real estate, or if I have vacancies, it doesn't matter, because I can peel off half of the interest I'm earning on my IUL, and that makes my mortgage payment, and I still have 100% more than that in profit or positive cash flow. If you have all your equity tied up in the property and it goes down in value, you will lose. And if you have vacancies, you still have to, make the mortgage payment if you still have a mortgage outstanding on that, where you're going to get the money. Okay. And so those are the first 6. What's reason number 7 out of 13? Well, this is hard for some people to understand, but high net worth people say to be treated more favorably by financial institutions during market downturns, okay, and be able to sell their property quicker and for a higher price. Now, you can't believe how many people don't understand this, but wealthy people do. If there's a downturn in the market and real estate goes down 20, 30%, or even 40%, like it did in 2008 with the mortgage meltdown, and all of a sudden there's mortgages being foreclosed on, who's going to foreclose? Who are the mortgage companies going to foreclose on sooner? Okay. The people who have a bunch of equity in the property, because they can turn around and sell that and get their money back. If you have your property mortgaged to the hilt, they'll work with you all day long. I've seen it over and over again. They're not going to foreclose on you, and they'll bend over and help you be able to extend it and all kinds of things. But it's also to be treated more favorably. If you need to borrow because you have position of liquidity, you have the ability to make the mortgage payments. They're going to treat you more favorably because you have liquidity. You have the money. It's not trapped in the property. I could go on, but that's basically why wealthy people do this, because they are treated more favorably by the financial institutions when they're in control of the equity instead of it being trapped in the property, okay? That takes us to reason number 8, and this is hard for some people to understand, but wealthy people say it this way. They go, Doug, you understand this. You're going to incur one of two costs when you own real estate. You're going to either incur opportunity cost if you pay off the real estate. You are giving up the opportunity to earn a rate of return on that real estate equity, because the real estate property is going to go up or down in value, regardless of whether it's mortgaged to the hilt, okay, or free and clear. Has nothing to do with how much equity is in there. But if you have it separated, okay, you can earn a rate of return, and most of them do this. Stay with me to the other reasons, because they're earning 100 to 200%, double, triple the net cost of the mortgage. But that's called an employment cost, okay? If you have your property mortgaged, you are borrowing money on that, but it's not your foe, it's your friend. Because if you can borrow money at 4.5% tax deductible interest in a 33% bracket, that's a net cost of 3. And I make 9 tax-free compounding on my IUL laser funds. How much more is 9 than 3? Don't say 6. It's 300% more. But you're going to incur employment costs. So you're not borrowing the money and burying it in a tin can in the backyard or in a vault in a bank. You're putting it to work. You're employing the money, and you're employing it at hopefully a higher return compounding than the net cost of the mortgage. But you're going to incur one cost or another. A lost opportunity cost, if it's free and clear, or you're going to incur an employment cost. So if you could be making 8% and you leave it in the property, you're only going to get what the property appreciates, okay? But if I separate it, I can experience that and earn 8%. But there's a cost there. But if I'm incurring that cost, that's an employment cost. If I borrowed money at 8, it's only a net cost of maybe 5 in my tax bracket. If I borrow at 6, it's a net cost of 4. So savvy, wealthy people say, Doug, you're going to incur one cost or the other. Non-deductible opportunity cost or deductible employment cost. Which would you rather incur? Yeah, I would rather incur the deductible employment cost, because you're going to incur one or the other. A lot of people don't understand opportunity cost. They think there is no cost by having your real estate free and clear. No, it's costing you lost opportunity, okay? If you didn't understand that, you need to watch other episodes in full detail, but that's reason number 8. Let's go to reason number 9 out of 13. They go, well, Doug, you know this. You're a numbers person. If you're trying to get out of debt, most wealthy people define out of debt by having more assets on their balance sheet, on this side of their balance, the assets, okay, more assets than their liabilities. And so they know that you'll get out of debt. You'll acquire more assets, a larger amount of assets faster by not sending extra principal payments to the mortgage, because you're keeping it and you're compounding the money tax-free over here, let's say at 8 or 9%, the net cost of a mortgage at 6%, okay? If you can tax deduct it, that's 4. I don't care if it's not tax deductible. You borrow at 6 and you earn 9, you're making a spread, okay? That's 50% more than the cost of the mortgage. And so they understand that, and you'll actually have more assets accumulate that covers the liabilities. You'll get out of debt 2.5 years faster than sending extra principal payments to the mortgage company. And so many simpletons out there have never done the math. They don't understand that. So that's number 9. They actually get out of debt on their balance sheet faster. Reason number 10 out of 13, they want to leverage with full liquidity, okay? Now, leverage without liquidity is stupidity, but they keep their real estate equity separated, and usually they have such excellent credit, these multimillionaires and billionaires. They're like me. I will usually mortgage with a first mortgage, 80% loan to value when I close on a real estate property, but I've never paid a down payment out of my pocket for any real estate. Okay, I've satisfied down payments, but never with my money. I usually use a second, maybe a third mortgage, and I use 100%. I leverage 100% and keep all of the money liquid. I don't pay 20% down payments because that's money tied up in the property. So they leverage with full liquidity. That's why they have a mortgage, because they understand safe, positive leverage, the ability to own and control assets with very little or none of your money tied up at risk in that asset, okay? So that's reason number 10. Number 11 out of 13 reasons is they understand how money works. They want to earn a return that is greater than the net cost of the mortgage, because the rate of return on real estate equity is always zero, okay? In other words, your house is going to appreciate or depreciate regardless. It doesn't matter if you pay a whole bunch in a down payment or pay a whole bunch of extra principal payments. If the house appreciates that year 5%, it's still 5%. If you separate the equity, not only are you going to earn 5% this year on the property, but if I separate the equity and I earn 10, now I'm making 10% here and 5% over here. There's a cost to this one, but if I borrow at 6%, tax deductible interest on a commercial property, that's a net cost of 4. Would you hire an employee, that $1 million employee, $1 million piece of real estate, and you pay $40,000, but it makes you an extra $100,000? Yeah, I would hire an employee for $40,000 that made me an extra $100,000. I'll do that all day long. That's not a cost. That is a profit. That's a benefit. That's the reason why they do it. They understand how money works. So that takes us to reasons 12 and 13. And reason number 12 is what I've just been talking about. They go, Doug, it's how money works to become your own banker and make double to triple the cost of the mortgage. They understand that if you leave it in the property, you've given up the ability to earn a rate of return, because that's going to appreciate or depreciate regardless. But if you separate it, oftentimes on non-owner occupied rental properties, you can deduct that interest. You borrow at 6% tax deductible interest in a 33% bracket, that's a net cost of 4. In IUL, Max Funded Indexed Universal Life, I've earned 8, 9, 10%. How much more is 8 than 4? Don't say 4, it's 100% more. Would you hire an employee for $40,000 that made you an extra $80,000 every single year? That's just the first year. But many times, these people have such good credit, they borrow at 4.5% tax deductible interest, a net cost of 3, and they make 9. How much more is 9 than 3? It's 300% more. On $1 million property, would you hire an employee that cost you $30,000 a year if that employee made you an extra $90,000 a year? That's 300% return on employment cost. 200% profit, 300% return on employment cost. Are you getting it? Now, the final and 13th reason, I'll tell it this way. There's a lot of ads you maybe hear that you ought to buy title theft protection or insurance so that somebody can't steal your title to your house, okay? Well, what is somebody doing when they steal the title to your house? They're going in and they're doing a search of your deed and they're trying to put it in their name and then go borrow on it. Well, then you have to go buy title theft protection. Why not just keep it mortgaged to the hilt? Who is going to steal your title if there's already a big mortgage lien on it? They would be inheriting your debt. And so savvy people go, Doug, why do we need title theft protection when we have our real estate separated? Who is going to go after your real estate equity? Who's going to sue you for your real estate equity if it's not there? If it's separated in a position of liquidity, safety, earning a predictable rate of return, you're going to understand this is how mega wealthy people usually keep their real estate equity. Okay? So those were 13 reasons, and I suggest that you consider them no matter what stage you are. You don't have to be wealthy to understand those or to even begin to implement them. If you want to learn more about a safer place to have your money than tied up in real estate, I would recommend you study my book, The Laser Fund. Laser Fund is a property structured max funded IUL. This book retails on Amazon for anywhere from $20 up to $60. If you buy it there, thank you, but I'll give you a copy free. You simply click on the link below or go to laserfund.com and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. Now, it's actually 2 books in one. This white side is 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations if you're a left brain learner. If you're more of a right brain learner, you learn by stories and examples. You flip it over and read this one. This one is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. You can use your whole brain, a right brain and left brain, if you read both of those books. But when you're in there claiming your free copy, if you'd like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's those formats available. There's also free educational webinars we do on a regular basis, but you can even schedule an appointment to talk to an IUL specialist to see how a property structured laser fund can work in your particular set of circumstances. There's no cost or obligation for doing that, because if you want to implement the strategies, it behooves you to do it correctly with a specialist. And I have trained over 5,000 advisors. I'm here to tell you that I would only trust the top 50 out of 5,000, the top 1%, to do it correctly for you. Because too many advisors just go, you know, Doug, we don't have time to teach people and educate them like you do. So what the public doesn't know won't hurt them. Yes, it will. I don't want you hurt. So this is not about me. This is about you and your brighter future. Hopefully you've gained some insights into why wealthy people with money keep their real estate mortgage.